Now, this is a video I can get behind because I'm talking to Michael Langston here about late May recruiting fireworks, specifically in the trenches. All right, that's what we want to talk about here today on Warchant TV. Frankly, that's what I always want to talk about. He's Michael Langston, senior recruiting analyst for Warchant.com. Hit the thumbs up underneath this video as we discuss, Michael, what's going on at the end of May for Florida State in terms of official visitors. Over the next 6 weeks or so, Michael, they've got dozens and dozens of official visitors coming in. This is going to be an extremely busy time for Florida State recruiting.
Yeah, it is. I'm actually got to put together everything. There's a few slight changes as far as additions and maybe a few subtractions, but there's going to be a lot. It's going to be massive. You're going to have, got some in May, but then it gets even crazier in June, where you're averaging like 15 guys, 3 straight weekends. So it's going to be a massive group, over 50, probably over 50 official visitors for the summer. So this is go time, and this is kind of what they call closing time as far as when you get in the official visits in the summer. That's kind of when you see decisions, and so there's a big opportunity for FSU to land some of these guys because we know, like majority of cases, a lot of these guys they're going to get flips and during the season, but some of these guys are going to get in this spring window, and certainly in May and June, I think there's a lot of several guys capability that fit that criteria that you could see in this class this summer.
And at the end of May, usually like June is the time when you want those official visits, but Memorial Day is early this year. The weekend of May 31st essentially, is June. It's not quite Memorial Day weekend. We celebrate that a little bit earlier on the calendar, but Florida State is looking to make a dent when it comes to trench play. And I'm here for it. Herb Hand, at least from what I've seen from afar, Michael, Herb Hand has been hitting the trail extremely hard, both the transfer portal trail and then the high school trail. He's taking a photo with a different 17 or 18-year-old prospect every day, it feels like. And so he's bringing one of the top tackles in the country on the weekend of May 30th, and that is 4-star offensive tackle Sam Roseborough. What's the deal with this kid?
Yeah, he's originally from Clearwater. That's right in the wheelhouse with Herb Hand, because obviously he coached at UCF. He's got a lot of connections in the Central Florida area. That's where his strongest areas are. There's a previous connection there. He's visited multiple times in the spring. That's a guy that certainly likes him a lot. There's a strong connection. I think even Sam said early in the year, even after he had visited, hey, I need to get back there, because it's like he really feels a connection and comfortable with that staff. And the fact that FSU is the only in-state team, and as far as one of his 4 or 5 remaining teams, I think speaks to kind of what FSU's done already in that recruitment. Certainly, you have some big players in there. I think Ohio State's in there. You certainly, there's certainly top teams in there. Texas is in there as well. But I think overall, from a relationship standpoint, I like FSU the best of where they sit with the relationships. Doesn't mean overall I think they're the best team, that they're number one right now, but I do like it where it's best, where the relationship I think is really, really tight, with Sam, and it has been, throughout the recruitment. Like I said, I think it speaks to what FSU's done with this recruitment, the fact that one, they're getting an official visit, two, they're the only in-state team that's in there, considering they're the worst in-state team on the field, as far as product wise. So I think that speaks to kind of the job that Herb's done already with Sam.
Well, that is a huge deal. Yeah, if they're the only team in state.
Yeah.
Herb Hand seems to be one of those guys who really pounds the pavement, as they say in the sales community. Like he moves and shakes. And to that end, another offensive lineman from the greater West Central Florida area, a rival school of mine when I was in high school, Berkeley Prep. We go to Berkeley Prep, and offensive lineman Johnnie Jones. This is a 6'6", 308-pound prospect. He's an on-3 top 100 player. He's an on-3 industry top 150 player. All right, Michael, another legitimate name coming to campus here.
Yeah, and this was one of the first guys that Herb Hand hosted on a visit. He came very early in January, came over, visited FSU. They came back later, took another visit in the spring, and then later we saw the official visit, that was locked up here. So I think there is familiarity. It's not as strong as far as maybe a background relationship that the one in Clearwater is with Sam, but I think it's still pretty. He knows him pretty well. He knows he's going to develop well. I think he just needs to learn a lot more about just the ins and outs of in depths of all the programs. I think Miami's certainly a player in there. I think other in-state schools are as well. But that's one where this one's a little more uncertain of not just FSU, but just overall. Is there a favorite? Is there one that stands out right now? I wouldn't say there's like a can't miss for sure. Top team yet. One that is the most intriguing for me, just because he hasn't really done a lot of recruiting stuff. Like it's mostly just focused on the football season, and that's kind of a Berkeley prep thing to me. Like it's like a lot of these kids don't really do recruiting until it's time to, hey, let's do it. So it's like last minute. So I think this will be the most intriguing. Where I think the big key for that visit, Tom, when he comes in there, is just what is the comfort level around everyone when he's there. Not just we know he's going to probably be comfortable with Herb Ham, and certainly they need to nail a plan, a specific plan that fits him, that he trusts. But I think a lot of how comfortable is he with everyone there, like players, other coaches that maybe not even impact him, but just the trust and comfort level to me is going to be the things that I look for throughout every trip he goes on, especially the FSU one that really resonates. I think the one that resonates the best, I think they're going to be the team that probably ends up, pulling it off.
There is a top 150 defensive lineman that Florida State will be hosting also that weekend. Now, Michael's prepared to talk about him, but I'm not going to give the name to you, everybody. You've got to click on the article. I'm going to link it at the bottom of this video. We gave you two awesome offensive linemen, but we got to make sure that we take care of the subscribers at warchant.com, which you can join today for $1 for your first week. $1 for your first week. And if you're a Florida State student, it's absolutely free to join warchant.com. No credit card required. It's not one of those deals. It's absolutely free. You just got to email us at support@warchant.com from your FSU student email account. And you're taken care of. A $130 value, absolutely free to you. It's our way to say welcome. Welcome to this awesome fan base that is really tortured at the moment, coming off a 2-10.
Yeah.
Let's all rally together and see how Florida State builds it back. That's what Michael Langston documents for you on the premium recruiting board. We would love to see you on the boards as well. Michael, what I'm going to do to round out this video is let's get to a skill position here. 3-star wide receiver and Mississippi State commitment Camden Capehart also going to be on campus at Florida State late in May. Why is this player important to Florida State in the 2026 cycle?
There's not a lot of top target. I mean, there's targets, but receiver-wise, I mean, you certainly have Brandon Bennett, Devin Carter. There's several other guys that they're heavily involved with, but Camden's one that they spent a lot of time with, committed to Mississippi State, but one that is certainly open to see what FSU does. And I'm most intrigued because this is the first visit where we'll see Tim Harris Jr. doing his thing, which I've heard very positive things about as far as on the trail, about the job he's done, and 2, just the impact of Gus Malzahn on these official visits. Because like I said, official visits is like closing time. So it's like we're going to get a feel like, hey, does these messages resonate with receivers in a guy that's perceived as a run-first guy, as far as his offense. So I'm very interested to see how that recruitment goes as far as, moving forward. And we talked about a lot of these spring visits. You see the impact of a spring visit if you get in a follow official visit, as you alluded to, Tom, and especially with a one like this where you weren't planning to get one. He wasn't planning on coming back, and now he's definitely planning on coming back because he's itching for more. And I think it says a lot about, hey, yeah, they're coming off a 2-10 season, but at least they know how to sell stuff, be able to pitch stuff of what fits and what's going to work. And I think that's kind of the gist of what I took from even this, first window of official visits in May, that there's kids that are intrigued by it. They feel like there is a, possibility that they see a turn and you see FSU have a good season. But I think they're also starting to believe that, hey, this program, we like this staff. we like what we've seen so far, and I think that's kind of my takeaway from just new visits being added to this official visit weekend, and even this one with Kendall being added. I think it speaks to kind of what they're doing, and doesn't mean they're perfect, doesn't mean it's like, oh, they're going to be fantastic this year, but I think it speaks for kind of where FSU's trending as far as recruits minds.
Well, that's the whole key here is with the new staff, you do need to generate some juice. And that has been debated about how much juice is being generated. But you know what? May and June is going to tell a tale here about how much traction Tony White's staff and Gus Malzahn's staff, all serving underneath head coach Mike Norvell, are actually doing when they hit the trail. We will document that all for you here on Warchant TV and warchant.com. Warchant.com has all of the inside intel on the premium recruiting board. That's where Michael Langston will provide you the information as it happens. Sign up today at warchant.com for just $1. Michael, thanks for the time as always. Appreciate the insights.
You got it.